This video is sponsored by Squarespace. So, a couple months ago, I worked on a video called The Gay Straight Man, where I talked about the idea of a straight male character constantly being mistaken for being gay simply because their interests aligned with women's. And since that video, I've gotten a lot of requests to do one about straight women who are mistaken for being gay for the same reason. I wanted to definitely take my time talking about a topic like this, especially because I'm not a woman. And so I wanted to make sure that I handled it with the care and grace it needed. As common as this trope is with women as well as men, it's different in the context for women because, on top of all the homophobia, there is also an undercurrent of misogyny and sexism. There's a very limited way in which women are expected to perform femininity, and any deviation from that must be punished and corrected. So, in today's video, we're going to be looking into the different ways women in media are suspected of being queer because of their refusal or inability to perform traditional femininity. This video is sponsored by Squarespace. Squarespace is a platform that helps you to design and create websites to help promote and scale your business or brand. Squarespace also makes it very easy for you to find and secure the best domain name for your website, and every domain comes with advanced privacy and security tools. They also have great SEO tools that help your website get discovered faster in search engines. So go to squarespace.com/Tron for a free trial, and when you're ready to launch, use offer code TRON to save 10% off your first purchase of a website or domain. Thanks to Squarespace for sponsoring this video. A major aspect of this trope is the woman's inability to conform to traditional femininity.
Can I be Lord of a Holdfast?
You will marry a high lord and rule this castle. And your sons shall be knights and princes and lords.
No. That's not me.
Oftentimes, these characters are depicted as being unusually interested in masculine pursuits. They might also prefer the company of boys and men to other women. In conjunction with an interest in the masculine is a rejection of the feminine. These characters might have a strong disdain for anything girly.
She's a heroine of yours, I take it. Are most girls more interested in the pretty maidens from the songs? John Keel, flowers in her hair?
Most girls are idiots.
Because of this nonconformity, others around her may confuse her for having a disinterest in dating men and so must be gay. This very idea was broached in Sex and the City. In this episode, the women are bemoaning the fact that they get treated differently by people around them because they're single.
What's the difference? When someone gets married, all bets are off. They become married and we become the enemy.
As the only single lawyer working at her law firm, Miranda had given this topic some thought.
Miranda, who was always the most nonconformist among the friend group, at least as it relates to gender ideology, realizes she's being shut out by the other lawyers at her firm because she's the only single person there. That all changed when one of her coworkers decided to set her up on a blind date. The only problem was, it was with a woman.
This is Sid. Sid, Miranda. Look at you two. It's like a perfect match. Well, I'm going to excuse myself.
They just assumed she was gay because of her presentation. Miranda is very determined and competitive. She's also driven and career-oriented, all qualities typically associated with men, which of course would lead them to believe she's gay.
Jeff?
Pretty great, huh? Can I pick him or what?
Yeah, I'm not gay.
Seriously? Man, I've been with the firm 8 months. I haven't once seen you with a guy.
Circumstantial, Jeff. I'm single. Christ, when did being single translate into being gay?
Within the friend group, Miranda is the least committed to traditional femininity, whereas Charlotte embodies a very traditional, hopeless, romantic kind of femininity, even with the ultimate desire of one day getting married. Carrie embraces a very soft, fashion-forward femininity, and Samantha embraces a very overt sexual femininity. Miranda has a much more subdued approach. She's a high-powered attorney. She wears sneakers and suits. She's sarcastic, analytical, and very skeptical about men and romantic pursuits. She's also fiercely independent, willing to raise her child all on her own. So many of her qualities from her wardrobe and demeanor are coded as masculine because they don't fit into the very narrow ideals of femininity. Because Miranda, especially among the other women, shows up as an outlier of traditional femininity, it's easy for others to code her as gay and attach a lot of lesbian stereotypes to her.
It's quite a play, ladies.
It's all about teamwork, Charles.
Chip.
Chip.
Listen, my wife and I are having a little dinner party on the 12th. Just some couples, nothing fancy. We'd love it if you both could make it.
We'd love to.
Ultimately, Miranda decides to play into it to increase her chances of getting closer with her boss, even though she does come to the conclusion that it's not for her.
Miranda considered how much easier her life would be if she were in a couple. Any couple.
Yep. Definitely straight.
Yeah. You are.
The sequel series did eventually have a storyline of Miranda coming out, and it turns out she is into women after all. This throwaway mistake highlights the narrowed ways women have to perform traditional femininity and how their inability to do so leads them to being mistaken for gay. Another core element of this trope is women who fail to meet a traditional feminine expectation having to learn how to conform in order to be accepted or to attract a man. Being a tomboy is something girls are expected to grow out of with age.
Lily! What? Close your mouth. We're in the 9th grade. You gotta start acting more like, I don't know, a girl.
Femininity is something that can and should be learned. Oftentimes, there are depictions of unfeminine girls having to try hard to be more feminine in order to fit in.
Nice shot, Shaq. Muy macho. It's macho? Whatever. You know I'm bad at French. Well, at least I know how to be a girl.
This is perfectly encapsulated in one iCarly episode. In the iCarly episode, I Make Sam Girlier, Carly throws Sam a birthday party and invites all of her closest friends and a new guy that she has a crush on.
Party's so great. I can't believe you invited Pete.
I had to. You haven't stopped talking about him for 3 weeks.
I can't help it. The boy gets me going.
Throughout the night, her friends recount their favorite memories of Sam, which all paint her in a very unfeminine light. Sam is very aggressive, confrontational, and strong, all qualities that do not fit in a traditionally feminine ideal.
At some point during the slumber party, Sam took my bra, filled it with pudding, and stuck it in the freezer. Then the next morning, she took it out and threatened to beat my brother with it unless he gave her his muffin.
Even her crush calls her a dude.
And even though I haven't known Sam for too long, I know that if I ever get in a fight and I can have either the football team or Sam back me up, I'm going with Sam. You are one bad dude.
Sam's concerned that if Pete cannot see her in a feminine light, then he will never see her as a romantic interest. So she asks Carly to help make her girlier.
Yeah, Pete said he'd want me for backup if he ever got in a fight, and then he called me a dude. So, unless I really got this whole biology thing mixed up, I am not a dude.
Sam undergoes a makeover designed to make her appear more traditionally feminine. The episode explores the idea of desirability, gender performance, and what it means to be girly enough. Sam's character throughout iCarly is defined by traits stereotypically coded as masculine. She loves meat, especially fried chicken. She fights. She's aggressive and confrontational. Her wardrobe is tomboyish. When Sam becomes interested in Pete, the show explores the idea of Sam having to wrestle with who she is and who she thinks she must become in order for someone like Pete to fall in love with her.
I want guys like Pete to think of me as just lovable, not the person to call when there's a riot or they want to tip a truck over.
So, you want to, like, change your image?
Would you help me?
Of course. But what do you want?
I want to be more like you. You know, all soft and girly and weak.
So Carly goes ahead with the makeover and gives Sam lessons on etiquette and how to actually act like a girl. Obviously, it all falls into the very traditional feminine ideal.
Well, This is good practice, because your eating habits aren't the best.
What are you saying?
I'm saying it's not ladylike to talk with your mouth full.
Like wearing dresses, high heels, doing makeup, acting softer, and more importantly, toning down Sam's aggression and bluntness. Which unfortunate time because the school has a new bully who, like Sam, does not fit into traditional feminine ideals.
Some chick named Jocelyn.
And she's a student?
Uh-huh, she's a senior.
Yeah, a senior citizen.
It is expected that Sam would be the one most capable of handling a bully like this, except under Carly's new teachings, Sam cannot lash out or defend herself because
Nice girls don't fight. I like your shoes.
none of this comes naturally to Sam, and she has to repress so much of who she actually is, highlighting the main issue, which is that traditional femininity must be performed to attract male attention at the expense of individuality. What's interesting about this, though, is that Pete himself is not depicted as being judgmental or sexist. He never asked or expected Sam to change for him. In fact, we find out later in the episode that he actually prefers her the way she was. He likes the fact that she's confrontational and strong and capable of defending herself.
I thought you asked me out because I was all...
Dude, I don't want to date some daffodil.
You don't?
Nah, man. I want a girl who can kiss good and snap a bone when she needs to.
Then I'm your girl.
Which makes the fact that she had been spending the entire episode making herself seem weaker and docile even the more unsettling. Sam just assumed that in order to be deserving of male attention and affection, she had to diminish herself and conform to a more feminine portrayal. Pete becomes sort of a stand-in for a broader societal expectation, how we evaluate whether girls meet conventional standards of attractiveness. This makes the episode more complex than just a simple change yourself for a boy. It's not Pete's expectations that shape Sam's behavior. It's her own internalized fear that a boy she likes will reject her because she's not girly enough. Eventually, by the end of the episode, she has to reject all of her feminine traits to be strong enough to stand up to her bully. And in the end, she doesn't have to compromise who she actually is and her pursuit for romantic affection. In Mean Girls, Regina George's decision to spread a rumor that Janis Ian is a lesbian is one of the most pivotal points in the movie, not just because the possibility of Janis being a lesbian is treated as shameful, but because Regina as the queen bee knows how queer identity can be weaponized within a very heteronormative high school hierarchy.
Janis Ian Dyke.
Regina's rumor was effective in ostracizing Janis because in a high school setting, a girl's identity, especially those who reject traditional gender roles, are policed and punished through gossip.
What do you mean? Regina, you seem to really hate her.
Yes. What's your question?
Well, my question is, why?
Regina started this rumor that Janis...
Damien! Shall we not?
What's interesting is that before they became mortal enemies, Regina and Janis were actually really close childhood friends. Janis adored Regina. Their fallout stems from the fact that Regina would frequently abandon Janis once she became interested in boys.
And Janis was like weirdly jealous of him. Like if I would blow her off to hang out with Kyle, she'd be like, "Why didn't you call me back?" And I'd be like, "Why are you so obsessed with me?"
Janis expected their friendship to be a priority for Regina and was very hurt and betrayed when Regina did not reciprocate those expectations. And to make it worse, Regina excuses Janis's disappointment as obsession and an attraction to her. In Mean Girls, Regina George's decision to spread a rumor that Janis Ian is a lesbian is more than a high schooler lashing out at an ex-friend. It is a calculated weaponization of gender expression.
So then for my birthday party, which was an all-girls pool party, I was like, "Janis, I can't invite you because I think you're a lesbian." I mean, I couldn't have a lesbian at my party. There are gonna be girls there in their bathing suits. I mean, right? She was a lesbian.
Janis's appearance, her attitude to traditional femininity makes her a social target within the hierarchy of the school. Regina's rumor works only because Janis already violates the unspoken rules of what a high school girl is supposed to look like, care about, and how they should perform femininity.
Nice wig, Janis. What's it made of?
Your mom's chest hair.
The rumor becomes a punishment for her nonconformity. And being a nonconformist to her core, she leans even more into her rejection of traditional femininity. Janis Ian's appearance and feminine presentation in Mean Girls immediately sets her apart. She wears darker colors, alternative clothes, she has a dry humor and wit, and a total disinterest in performing femininity for male approval. She's also fiercely independent and unafraid of creative self-expression. In high school, where femininity is heavily policed and perfected through fashion trends and feminine expression, the plastics, who have perfected this very strict type of feminine expression, sit on top of the social hierarchy. Janis represents an entirely different kind of expression. She's expressive without being sexualized and confident without catering to the male gaze or by trying to live up to a traditional feminine ideal. But to Regina, whose identity is built on controlling femininity, this makes Janis both threatening and an easy target. Regina George's power is tied directly to her performance of idealized femininity. Her hair, her clothes, her sexuality, her dominance relies on a strict set of gender rules. Who can wear what, who can sit where, who can date who, and who is allowed to define what femininity looks like.
So that's against the rules, and you can't sit with us.
Whatever. Those rules aren't real.
They were real that day I wore a vest.
Because that vest was disgusting.
You can't sit with us!
Regina doesn't just follow these rules, she creates them and punishes anyone who breaks them, all the while understanding that because she herself is atop the social hierarchy, she never has to fully adhere to them, because no one really could. But Janis breaks all the rules. And not only does Janis break all the rules, she never even cared to follow them to begin with. Regina doesn't lash out by Janis by saying that she's weird or ugly or mean. She calls her a lesbian, which was enough to isolate Janis and was only made more believable because of how Janis looks and behaves. It relied on so many shallow and inaccurate stereotypes associated with what it means to be a lesbian. But in a teen environment and in a high school environment where gender nonconformity is automatically associated with queerness, Janis's presentation made the rumor all the more effective.
Oh my god, it's her dream come true, diving into a big pile of girls.
Regina understands that, and she leveraged it. Her rumor works because Janis's gender expression is already outside the rigid norm. In Regina's world, femininity must be big and pink and glossy. Anything else becomes suspicious. But what makes Janis an interesting character is her refusal to let Regina's rumor ruin her life. Instead of trying to prove how straight she is, she leans into people's expectations and bias.
I am so sorry, Regina. Really, I don't know why I did it. I guess it's probably because I've got a big lesbian crush on you. Suck on that!
Janis's refusal to perform femininity or to defend herself by performing heterosexuality undermines Regina's whole system. It reveals that the rumor only had power because the society allowed it to. In fact, Janis ended up being the perfect antithesis to Regina's whole high school hierarchy. Because she never cared to fit in, she was the perfect conduit to help bring it down. So that's it. Those are my thoughts on the Straight Lesbian. Let me know what your guys' thoughts are below. Be sure to like, comment, and subscribe, and I'll see you guys in the next one.